Did you think that 2020 would be the year that after the president secured several peace agreements, which could bring about peace in the Middle East, and then getting nominated twice for the Nobel Peace Prize, the Democrats and the left and the media would say, end the Nobel Peace Prize? Did you think that 2020 would be the year that Democrats would actively pay the bail for rioters, or the vice presidential candidate would solicit donations to get rioters released from prison amid months of ongoing riots? I certainly didn't think so. And now we have all of these things and more happening. The left's only MO is that Trump is bad. There's no Democratic leadership. They have no real plan. Joe Biden is hiding in the basement, and their only bet is we can maybe win by convincing people that Trump is bad. Well, congratulations. I've heard it. I actually really like that he's withdrawing troops from the Middle East. I really like the Middle East peace agreements. And I can say now, I believe it is fair to say that objectively, the left and the Democrats are absolutely insane. Wait till you see some of the things I'm going to show you pertaining to riots, pertaining to some of these films on Netflix, the Cuties film, for instance. How about the peace agreements, the Bahrain-Israel deal? They roast him no matter what. So I ask you, as a decent human being, would you vote for a faction, a party, a tribe, whatever, that has no plan other than I hate Trump? What do they do if they win? It reminds me of the Joker in the Dark Knight film. He's a crazed dog chasing after a car. He wouldn't know what to do with it once he caught it. So what happens if they actually win? Then what? They have no narrative. They have no plan. They have no strategy. Joe Biden's platform's all over the place. Is he for or against some of these left-wing policies, far-left policies? Most people can't tell you. Now, of course, the guy actually has strategy proposals. I'm not saying he doesn't. But the narrative is just one singular thing. Orange man is bad. So what? Joe Biden gets elected and he sits there and goes, Trump is still bad. And you're like, yo, Trump's gone. He's a regular guy now. He's not actually in the presidency. The only thing the left is offering up today is that they hate Trump. But that's not a reason to ask someone to lead this country or to take charge. Right now, we have two parent factions in this culture war. You have, I guess you can call it the right and the left, if that really makes sense. And on the right, there's some proposals. How about this? Donald Trump has secured 3 massive historic peace agreements. He's doing positive things. Now he's withdrawing troops from the Middle East. I'm sorry, I know I might be beating a dead horse on that one, but I really, really love that. And that says to me that I can look forward to more success with the Trump presidency. What is Joe Biden doing? Hiding in his basement. And what is the left doing? They're supporting riots and denouncing the Nobel Peace Prize. It's just insane. It's just objectively insane. I want to show you this segment from Bill Maher first and talk about how Bill Maher is desperately trying to tell the left to stop, but they don't listen. Even as Bill Maher, renowned, famous liberal, says, why are we supporting looting and rioting? They say, oh, no, it's no big deal. Stop. But these people don't have any principles. There's no policy position. It is Trump bad. And that's it. Wait till you see some of the comments you're about to see. This segment is not to rehash the news around these instances. It's to show you the reaction from the left. And this is exactly why I think we are facing now some of the biggest red pill moments in American history. When people realize the media's only goal is to make you angry. And if you don't actually know what's going on, how could you actually ever come up with a real solution? But they've spun themselves up into this bubble they can't see out of, and they believe insane things. And they literally just hate everything good. I'll tell you this. There have been some good things I've seen from Democrats, mostly pertaining to big tech and surveillance. But if their entire existence is built upon one thing, hatred for Trump, then you have nothing to offer me or anyone else. But let's go through their reactions to some of the breaking news that's come out in the past couple of weeks. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. I got a P.O. box if you want to send me stuff. The best thing you can do, however, is share this video. First, I'll tell you, I don't got a marketing department. I rely on word of mouth. So sharing really does help. But also, I think this might trigger some people because I'm calling the left insane, man. But I got to tell you, I read the news all day, every single day. And I think I can objectively state that at least a very large portion have lost their minds. Because when I talk to my friends, when I talk to them about, say, like the Cuties film and the trafficking stuff, things that the Republicans and Trump are actively trying to stop, They say, hey, that's a good thing. When I say, how about Israel and the UAE? And like, wow, that's fantastic. Now, what happens when I turn on the TV and you go to any network that's anti-Trump? Yeah, they just say the most ridiculous and insane things. That's another reason why you should share the video. But don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's read the first story from Fox News. Bill Maher knocks media's defense of looting and rioting. I'm not down with that. The HBO star defended Senator Rand Paul, who was harassed by demonstrators outside the White House. Bill Maher, he's holding a red pill and he won't eat it. I love how people say that I'm like the slowest red pill ever. No, I absolutely recognized all of this. I was just holding out, hoping I could be that, person pushing up against the wall, stopping the far left from going too far. But apparently I couldn't. Bill Maher, however, still has Trump derangement syndrome. He's absolutely convinced of this. Well, now that you've noticed the media is defending looting, rioting, and murder, perhaps you can be like, maybe they lied about Trump too. Because, Bill, you got Covington wrong. And that was like a week after it happened. I don't know. I'm assuming you do the show live. Maybe you should have better fact checkers. But when you don't actually do the investigations and you rely just on mainstream media, you will go insane. Real-time host Bill Maher blasted the media Friday night, claiming they offer various justifications for looting and rioting amid the civil unrest that has taken place in cities across the country. During the show's panel segment, Maher began with a warning about the craziness out there, pointing to the controversial book In Defense of Looting that was given a spotlight by NPR and a lot of articles in the press echoing a similar sentiment. Maher explained that in binary times, the fringe will always be associated with one party or the other, later insisting that this time around, Democrat Joe Biden will have to wear looting on his back into the election because it is being done by the left. No, it's because Joe Biden negotiated with Bernie Sanders on a pact to bring in more progressive policies. It's because Joe Biden's saying, I see the rioters. And look, man, we're going to negotiate with them. That's crazy to me. But yes, Bill Maher does make a good point. Everybody looks in one direction and they see the fringe and they associate it with everybody. But in this instance, we have Republicans, as I've often said, they purge the fringe. They say, get away from us. We don't want to look bad. The left says, well, we can negotiate with them. And don't take my word for it. Let's read. His panelists disagreed, arguing that Biden had been handling the issue of the unrest very well, and the issue has actually been hurting President Trump. But none of that passed Maher's smell test. Quote, what about the property destruction issue? Maher asked. He went on to assert that some defenders of looting justified the destruction because it wasn't assault or murder and that property was replaceable. That is a lie. If I spend a year working on a big painting, a passion project, or maybe it's something sentimental, maybe my mom gave me something, and you burn down my building, I can never replace those things. I can never replace the blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not down with this properties on the table as something we can just take because things are not right. To me, that's not the way to address our problems, by throwing a brick through the window. But where is this massive destruction of property happening right now? Author Jessica Yellin, a former CNN correspondent, asked in an attempt to downplay the violence. Do you watch the news? Maher replied. If you look at Portland, it's 2 square blocks. Yellin doubled down, calling other examples like Kenosha, Wisconsin, moments of protest, which we have throughout our history. Another lie. These people are insane. They don't read. They don't do any research. Bill, they don't watch the news. She didn't watch the news. Portland has not been 2 square blocks. First of all, it was 12 when it was centered in the downtown area, but they moved out to all of these other residential neighborhoods and actually started climbing on people's property. Or I'm sorry, that was Rochester. In Portland, they were just walking on people's property, going in the yards, standing on their deck. They were going around chanting, wake up, mother effer, wake up. It was not 2 blocks. They went to a bunch of different facilities. They started a bunch of fires and they tried to burn down a condo building because the mayor lived there. 2 blocks. They have gone completely insane. Maher pushed back, telling Yellin, there is a view in the media, please. I know you've seen it. Don't look at me like I'm making this up, that this is somehow a justifiable approach. Well, isn't it a part of protest? When did we say you can go and destroy people's lives and it's acceptable? It is now. Incredible. So you're a part of this? You believe this, Maher told her? I saw this guy at a Papa John's franchise who was yelling through his broken glass, you're going to elect Trump, and I'm just trying to feed my family. I don't think his view is just like, c'est la vie, it's just property. No, it's why are you attacking me? I didn't do anything to you, man. I make pizza. But these panelists, amazing. Vanity Fair columnist Peter Hamby acknowledged that campus thinking has drifted into the national press and Democratic politics. Maher later defended Senator Rand Paul, who was harassed by protesters outside the White House despite his efforts to pass his police reform bill, named after Breonna Taylor, as well as diners who have been accosted by demonstrators. You're allowed to eat dinner, Maher exclaimed. I can eat dinner and still be down with the cause. Yellen later referred to the subject of looting as a sideshow in the election, a remark that appeared to strike a nerve with the real-time host. It may be a sideshow unless it's your business that got wiped out, Maher shot back. I mean, if it's your business, then it's not a sideshow. They have gone nuts. Who in their right mind could sit on TV and say, it's all okay? It's a part of protest to destroy people's lives. That is a tower so ivory you cannot look at it in direct sunlight. Thank you, Bill Maher, for calling it out. Now, please get rid of the Trump derangement syndrome. Because I got to say, your hatred for Trump is playing into this as well. Trump's got his issues. He's not that bad. And I'll give you examples. Bahrain will normalize relations with Israel in deal brokered by Trump. The island kingdom in the Persian Gulf becomes the second Arab nation in a month to more openly embrace Israel, dismissing Palestinian objections. Objectively good. Donald Trump did. Objectively good. Is it perfect? No. I said good, not perfect or not great, but good. Normalizing relations with Israel can help bring peace and stability to the Middle East. And it's not the only time he's done this, but I'll throw it to Nancy Pelosi. Asked on CNN Sit Room if Trump deserves credit for the Bahrain-Israel deal, Pelosi questions his ties to Saudi and says, good for him for having a distraction on a day when the numbers of people who are affected and the numbers of people who are dying from the virus only increases. What an absolute lunatic. Trump's got his problems, man. But this peace deal is historic. And it's not the only one. It is the third under Trump's belt. You know what I see? I see a guy who's like, here's my re-election strategy. I'm going to solve world problems. And I'm like, man, that's a great sales pitch. Right before an election, Trump brokers 3 historic peace agreements and vows to withdraw our troops, orders the withdrawal from Iraq, soon to be Afghanistan. Hey, man, those are tangible results, and I love to see it. What are they offering up? The orange man is bad, though. Sorry, I don't care. It reminds me of Scott Presler. You may know him. He's this dude who goes around cleaning up cities. That's about it. But he's a Trump supporter. He's defended Trump, and he's been smeared in the media for cleaning up trash. I am not exaggerating. He went to West Baltimore. He cleaned up some of these areas. He had with a bunch of volunteers, mind you. And they actually smeared him in the press saying he's just trying to help Trump and make Trump look good. I'll tell you what, man, if I got my choice between people who are vomiting vile refuse and defending looting and destruction and criticizing peace agreements, and I got a guy who's going around cleaning up trash and making the neighborhood look nice, and I got a president who's signing peace agreements, who do you think I'm going to choose? Donald Trump to be nominated for second Nobel Prize. You may have seen the story. Big breaking news. Congratulations, Trump. And you know what? I mean it. These peace agreements warm my heart. Foreign policy is one of the bigger issues for me for a long time. It's what really sparked me into political understanding when I was a kid, the Iraq War. I mean, I was very young when 9/11 happened. And so I was very, very into like what's happening. And it really is a view about, you know, there's the America First mentality, which is more about, hey, we want to take care of American citizens first. I recognize that, but I'm not there. You know where I'm actually at? I say do no harm. I don't believe we should be going after these other countries and doing the things we're doing, especially predicated upon lies. And that jives with the America First people, because I'm like, yo, we bring our troops back. We get them home. They get to see their families. We can allocate resources to building infrastructure here on the ground. And guess what? Helps America. But for me, I don't want people blowing up in other countries. I think we've made a lot of mistakes in that regard, and there are issues we got to deal with. But Trump, he's making moves that I think may cause some pain. It's true. Not the peace agreements, the withdrawal of troops, but we got to do it. We have to do what we got to do. We got to do it. You can't just sit back and keep saying no. Well, of course, The Atlantic and the Nobel Peace Prize. The Trump nomination shows that peace had its chance and blew it. Are you, what? The dude signs 3 historic peace agreements, and this is what we're gifted. I'm sorry, man. You may be saying, Tim, that the Democrats insane and they've lost their minds and they're unhinged and all stuff. You are being so you're exaggerating and hyperbolic. You're so biased. I'm sorry, man. Nah, I'm going to stop you right there. They defended on Bill Maher looting and rioting and acted like it wasn't a big deal. And even Bill Maher is going, what? What am I listening to? And you want to tell me that calling for the end of the Nobel Peace Prize after 3 historic peace agreements? You know what? Trump has already earned his prize. He's going to go down in history for these peace agreements. Is it the end? Is it perfect? Of course not. He's chipping away. He's trying to do the right thing. And it's funny because Trump is just like, his character is not very good. But outside, you know, if you look beyond the Trump bombacity, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, Trump's a bombastic guy. If you can look past that, he's actually doing things that I like. And I will take the win. It's crazy to me that they can never give Trump not one good day. You're insane. Because even a broken clock is right twice a day. So maybe I'm a broken clock. You know why? Because twice a day I might compliment the Democrats in a sea of hundreds of insults. Well, no, I don't really insult, but hundreds of criticisms. I periodically have good things to say about some of these Democrats. Like when Joe Biden condemned the violence, I said, thank you. Do more, though. Call them out by name. He did that. He's really flipped his tune on defund the police. Maybe it was a mistake. I can respect that. And you still got Republicans saying that he wants to defund the police. That's a bit disingenuous at that point. At this point, we know he said reallocate funds, but we also know now he's doubled down on more funding for police. So let's not play that game. I try to be more than a broken clock, but something is messed up when their clock, when the left, is not even right twice a day. It just doesn't. It's always wrong, no matter what Trump does. The Nobel Peace Prize is bad. Who cares anyway? Trump shouldn't get it. Y'all are nuts, man. I got more for you, though. So here's the story from the Daily Mail noting that Atlantic is getting slammed for publishing the op-ed. And it's just a series of tweets. So we'll jump over to the Reddit post. Trump scores second shock Nobel Prize nomination. Yes, that's right, on Reddit. And guess what? It has 0 upvotes. I'm sorry, it has 0 points. What this means is more people are downvoting this than upvoting it. The way Reddit works is if it gets more up than down, it will appear higher and higher in the ranking, so you'll find it. They announced 15 hours ago, they posted this, that Trump is getting a second nomination. And the left is so unhinged, they didn't want anyone to see it happening. And the comments are nuts. Was this one forged? Yeah, well, so did Mussolini. What about Hitler and Stalin? They got nominated too. If he agrees to go away, just give it to him. A guy who regards poor countries as S-hole countries, who is a proud racist and white nationalist who engages in ludicrous trade wars, and they're losing their minds. They've lost the plot. When I saw this, you know, I was planning on doing something about immigration. I'm like, we got this immigration ruling, and I was like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. These past weeks have been insane. I mean, the past months have been insane. The riots, the absurdity. And then I saw the Bill Maher story. And here's a guy. It reminds me of that. I think it's the Kierkegaard short, poem or idiom or whatever you call it, where the clown rushes out on stage and says, there's a fire backstage. And everyone starts laughing and clapping. And then the clown is like, no, there's a major fire. And then everyone's just clapping and laughing even more. It's all part of the show. And he says, I think that's how the world will end, to, uproarious laughter as the world burns around us, or something to that effect. And that's what it felt like, Bill Maher being like, are you guys watching these videos? I'm a liberal. I saw a Papa John's employee freaking out over this. And they're like, no, Bill, you're crazy. It's no big deal. Bill, when are you going to come out, wake up, and realize the media's been lying the entire time? And everything that's been happening is just absolute insanity. It's totally insane. This is the same one I pulled up about Nancy Pelosi. But take a look at this story from Newsweek. Will Democrats accept election results if they think Trump cheated to win? Of course not. Hillary Clinton already told Biden not to concede under any circumstances. In their little war game thing they did, John Podesta playing Joe Biden refused to concede. It is going to be Trump derangement syndrome all the way down. That's why they told us, unless Joe Biden wins in a landslide, there will be violence. Please, I beg of you, America, don't give the keys to these lunatics. I feel bad for Bill Maher because he's like he's got his foot outside the door, but he's not quite outside of the room yet. Listen, these people don't have a plan. They have no plan. Their only plan is Orange Man bad. Don't give them the keys. Now, I understand maybe there will be violence if Trump wins because it's the left that's been violent. So what? We have to stand up and face that challenge. Now, I've heard from some people they're scared. They want everything to go back to normal. Maybe Biden just should win because no, stop. They'll come. Let them come. If the crazies want to be violent and they refuse to accept the results, we cannot fall on bended knee simply because we are scared of crazy people. There comes a time where you have to stand up for yourself. You have to defend yourself. And if the crazy people want to get crazy, then we must defend our institutions and our country. If Joe Biden wins, Donald Trump, with a smile on his face, will hand over power with no question. That's what they've told us. But if Donald Trump wins, they will fight tooth and nail with flaming Molotov cocktail in hand, demanding we defund the police to end systemic racism. To end systemic racism and end up driving out African-American police chiefs. There's no plan. There's no cohesive strategy. There's no real ideology. The left has become a paranoid, delusional, chaotic, destructive force. Now, hear me out. They'll tell you all the same things about Trump. And that's a challenge for me. It is. Because I try to make sure that I'm not falling into the same traps. But let me just be real with all of you. I just showed you all these sources, right? I'm not just arbitrarily making things up. And I'm actively fact-checking against these people. I think they've truly broken. They've broken under Trump because they hate him so much, and they've created an industry out of hating Trump. If the media's whole MO is Trump is bad, and the only thing they write is Trump is bad, even to the point where they say, end the Nobel Peace Prize, the Democrats, this is their base, have no choice but to play to this. So now here's what you get. If you vote for Donald Trump, you will see more peace agreements. You will see a bolstered economy. You will see a pushback on critical race theory. Trump is not perfect. COVID is a serious problem, but Trump did a lot of things that I think he did well. And I offer up the Democrats an opportunity to tell me what he should have done differently, because Nancy Pelosi and de Blasio were advocating for people to go out very early in COVID. So I think that's a moot point. I see Donald Trump, him winning means prosperity for the economy, a withdrawal of our troops from the Middle East, an end to critical race theory, at least at governmental level, and more peace agreements. I would like those things. Very, very much so. Trump's second-term agenda also includes school choice, which I'm a big fan of. And I like the idea. And not defunding the police. I also like that, too. I looked at the Democrats, and what do they offer? Trump is bad. Riots are good. In defense of looting. Black Lives Matter. No, I'm sorry. Those things haven't really brought us anything positive, nor are they a cohesive strategy, nor are they any kind of solution. So what happens if they win and they yell Black Lives Matter? Do we defund the police? Okay, well, I don't want that. What happens now that they're criticizing Trump for his peace agreements? If Joe Biden gets elected, do we get more war? I don't want that. Defund the police, more war, and more critical race theory? Do Americans really want that? Not only this, nobody believes... Okay, I'll slow down. Most people think Trump is the right choice on the economy. And I think you'd have to be lying to yourself to argue otherwise. In the end, what do I see happening? The one thing you could probably argue, support for Black Lives Matter and police reform. Well, the Republicans already offered up a police reform bill, and the Democrats are the ones who blocked it. And more importantly, it is the inversion of a solution. Democrats are driving African-American police chiefs out of their jobs. So should I expect any positive changes or solutions under the Democrats if they win? Yes, one, they themselves will stop burning our cities down. Is that it? Nah. I'll stand defiant and say, give me the historic peace agreements. Y'all are completely insane. And if that means I have to fight for my rights and defend them, I will. I mean that figuratively. I'm like in a legal sense. I'm not going to go out and fight anybody. Of course, they'll want to lie, cheat, and steal to do anything to gain power. Well, I'll tell you what. I think they've gone completely insane. And it's probably been said 50 million times, so whatever. I'm saying it again. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastNews. It is a different channel, and I will see you all then.